Well, for this information coming in just by the minute, so I'm going to run through it as we got it here. First of all, both of the attackers in Northeast Paris and the attacker who took control of this kosher store just down the street from me here were extremely well armed. Let's just go through the arsenal that was present in Northeast Paris as those two attackers were assaulted by police. They had a rocket-propelled grenade primed and ready to go, very powerful weapon. They had two AK-47 or Kalashnikov automatic rifles. They also had grenades. Let's talk about what the attacker here, the hostage taker, had here at the kosher market. He also had a Kalashnikov rifle. He had grenades. He had a 9mm pistol. And in addition to that, 15 sticks of dynamite. So they were very much holed up. They were armed to the teeth, really, to take on some of the best armed and best trained counter-terror forces that France has. Let me give you some more, because prosecutors also discovering information about their terror connections. Let's talk first of all about Sharif Kouachi. He was one of the brothers that carried out the attack on Charlie Hebdo. The prosecutor confirming that he traveled to Yemen in the year 2011, and that the authorities were aware not only of his travel to Yemen, but also contacts with terror groups inside Syria as well. So in addition to Sharif Kouachi's previous arrest, remember he was in prison for attempting to recruit fighters to travel to Iraq. Remember as well that in 2005, he was stopped at the border here in France trying to travel himself to Syria and then on to Iraq to join the fight against U.S. forces there. And in court documents we received earlier today, in his deposition during that case, he said that the reason he wanted to go to Iraq was to fight and kill Americans because, he said, Americans had mistreated the Iraqi people. Certainly very worrisome, because we know that al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, a terror group he had ties with, has its target set, its sights set on the U.S. And I'm going to give you another very interesting piece of information. The prosecutor says that French authorities recorded some 500 phone calls between the wives of one of the Kouachi brothers and the wife of the attacker who took the kosher market here hostage as well. Remember, throughout the day, we were wondering, we had questions about whether these attackers were connected. Clearly they were connected. Not only that the attacker here had called for, demanded the liberation of those two men, the Kouachi brothers who had taken over, the Kouachi brothers, I should say, who had taken over the office in Northeast Paris, but that their wives had been in touch 500 times in 2014 alone. You're really getting a sense of a web of terror here behind these attacks that held the city of Paris and its surroundings in tension for 3 days. And as I said earlier, Wolf, this area here that I'm standing in was on lockdown till a short time ago because, of course, that standoff took place just down the street from here. It's only now that they're beginning to turn to some semblance of normality.
Jim, I just want to be precise. 500 conversations, phone conversations between the wives of the two terrorists, the Kouachi brothers, and the wife of Ahmedi Koulibaly. He was the terrorist who went into that supermarket. Is that right?
That's exactly right. 500 phone calls between the wife of the terrorist, Koulibaly, who took this kosher market, and one of the wives of one of the Kouachi brothers. So clear, consistent contacts between the attackers there and the hostage taker here.